Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, citizens of Earth. This is your host, D Squared with
Brian Held.
And this is the Week in Geek. Week in Geek, Brian? Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
Your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now?
That would be correct.
Take
yes,
it away,
sir.
buckaroo. Some homeless dude bit me. My hand hurts. I mean, I don't know what the hell, man. My hand's just hurting.
Yeah, are you going to turn into a zombie or something?
I don't know. He was just dirty.
You
He might not have been a zombie. I don't know that.
You'd be just in time for Halloween.
That would be. I wouldn't have to worry about a costume.
There you go.
Save me some money.
So, first off, out of the gate, the quarterly numbers, the Nielsen ratings came in. Dave?
What?
Yes. Our audience has doubled.
Wow.
Yes.
So now we have two people?
Exactly.
Sweet.
And I just
That's awesome.
wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all our regular listeners and welcome to the new listeners that are coming on the show. We appreciate you being here. And, man, it's still a busy month.
I know, dude. I mean, you were a busy little beaver over the weekend, man.
Yes.
Tell everybody what you did.
Well, we
always be promoting.
Yeah, absolutely. We went to Oktoberfest over at the Deutsch's house on Friday night. We got to hang out with Cyber Ernie was in town, and Don Cooper, our staff photographer, and of course, Mr. Jason Carter from Babylon 5.
Him?
Yes. Man, that dude can throw down. He can party.
You guys are like besties now.
Yes, he's so cool. So, anyway, so we hung out. It was a great time. Ran into a lot of folks. And then on Saturday...
Yeah, Gulf Coast Fandom Fest?
Gulf Coast Fan Fest, absolutely. And we had a great time. There's a lot of good folks out there. Ming Shen from Comic Book Men was there. We talked to him for a bit. Jeremy London was there, and I got to talk to him. In fact, I'm going to go to one of his acting classes in a couple weeks. Yes.
Say it ain't so, Brian.
Yes.
But you act so well.
Well,
Shakespearean, Captain Picard-esque.
There's always something new to learn, Dave. And what's cool is that Jeremy London is trying to work out a cameo on this hopeless Star Wars story short that we're working on.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, well, that's pretty darn tootin' interesting, man.
I know. So, and of course, next week we will be at QuestCon in Mobile. That's October 20th through the 22nd at the convention center right down there on the river.
Yeah, no, the commercial just before the show started, they were talking about an apocalypse. What
Wasteland, yeah.
What the hell is that?
So, friend of the show, Cedric Whittaker, Captain Cedric Whittaker, and the wonderful folks at Airship Isabella are putting on this apocalypse wrecking yard deal, and they're going to have like a barter town. It's like taking a section out of Fallout.
Break a deal, spin the wheel.
Exactly, and they're going to take like a section out of Fallout and just drop it in front of the convention center.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, I'm going to go do about an hour of programming. They're going to have an FM transmitter, one of those little tiny ones, and we'll do some apocalypse radio. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
All right, well, are you ready to do Top Nerd News, Brian? We got to lay out the show, man. We are guest heavy and spectacular of guests.
We are, yeah. So, of course, in a minute, we're going to do Top Nerd News. Our second segment is Miss Gigi Edgley, who played Chiana on Farscape, and she is going to be a guest at QuestCon next week. So we have her on, and then after that is Mr. Kevin Hearne.
Yes, the Iron Druid series.
Yes, he is back after 2 years ago when we had the interview last with him.
Jeez, it was 2 years ago
already? I know.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to cry your big baby eyes to sleep once he ends the series?
Well, that's why he's starting a new series.
No.
Yes.
So I should listen to the interview and find out?
Absolutely.
Wow, well played.
Yes. And then, of course, we'll close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History.
All right, let's do it, buddy.
Yep.
And now your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by QuestCon. QuestCon, October 20th to the 22nd in Mobile, Alabama. For more information, go to quest-con.com. And now your top nerd news stories. All right, Brian, so topping us off is a robot fight.
It is.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, most definitely. And
we had those guys on the show, too.
We did.
Was that like 2 years ago?
Longer, yeah.
It's like 4 years, huh?
It's been a while. But, the folks from Megabots are going to have the giant robot fight with that Japanese robot that they challenged forever ago.
Yes.
And so, just so you know, Dave, the fight has already happened.
No! No.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you have to spoil stuff for me?
I'm going to explain.
I hate your face.
Right. The fight has happened, but the way that they structured it, they would go at it for a while and then back out and like repair the robots up a bit and then go at it some more. So it's like a really long fight because
they stretched it out for us.
Exactly.
Well, I was watching the video of them taking it on a little guided tour, where they had to go through a whole bunch of barrels, shoot some cannons and stuff like that.
Right.
And just when the camera was behind it, I mean, all those wires were exposed. So like I really hope they put some armor on that bad boy.
Yeah, I hope so because they have both ballistic weapons and melee weapons on these robots.
That giant ass knife was awesome looking.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, you can watch this on Tuesday, October 17th.
That's Tuesday.
Yes, it's going to be 9 p.m. Central for us on Twitch TV.
Nice. I have that on my Xbox.
Yes. So if you're not familiar with Twitch, just go. It's an app. You can download on a smartphone or tablet, on your Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, on your computer. So
what's the keyword? Is it Megabots? Or is it just giant ass robot fight?
Yeah, just look giant robot fight would be fine. But yeah, Megabots Incorporated is the company that has the American robot that's clearly going to win.
Clearly, obviously, America. See, that's what you get.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I'm excited. I know what I'm going to be doing Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Aren't people having parties too?
Yeah. There's some the Coolmans are opening up their house, having some folks come over.
Now Sunday, Brian, the 22nd, The Walking Dead returns.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I know, but what's interesting is there's going to be a crossover, right?
Yes. So finally, they said they're at a point where Fear the Walking Dead has, I guess, stabilized in its ratings. I still don't watch it because I just don't care about the characters.
Right.
I tried to. I wanted to get on board, and I mean, there's some flashes of brilliance in the series, but I mean, I watch it so sporadically that I'm just not invested anymore.
Right.
But I mean, they probably should have done the crossover years ago.
Yeah.
Because now, they're going to bring back. Well, that's the thing. They're not teasing it anymore. The crossover is going to happen. I think it's supposed to be this season, and but it's going to either throw back to somebody who's already dead, or just kind of build up a backstory for somebody who's already in the current iteration, who's still alive, fighting old Negan and that bat.
Okay.
So I mean, people lost their damn minds because New York Comic Con was last weekend too, man.
Right. Right.
So a lot of information dropped there. Also, some information dropped about Justice League, your favorite, Brian.
Really?
Justice League, yeah.
What was the news?
I forgot. It wasn't very important. No. So they're changing Cyborg's
origin
story. Thank you. And I don't know why. Maybe they just lazy storytelling, which wouldn't shock me right now with DC. But he's only got 2 origin stories floating around where he was mauled to death and ripped apart by one of those apocalypse beasts, and then the other one he got blowed up by one of those apocalypse things, and that's how he got rebooted and turned into Cyborg and all that jazz. And so I don't know. I guess maybe they're just trying to do expediency. Maybe we won't have to do an origin story like we get for Batman every damn movie.
Well, what are they doing?
It's I think 2019 the Cyborg movie comes out.
Yeah, but what's the origin?
He got in a car accident. Sorry, yeah, he got in a very bad car accident, which is pretty weird because there was only his head, his chest, and a nub of his right arm was left. So it had to be a pretty damn serious car accident.
Right, and it's his dad that rebuilds him.
Yeah, his dad's a doctor and he's a scientist and stuff.
Okay,
always leave it to the scientist to fix stuff.
Right, of course.
All right, moving on, Brian. What else we got?
Xcrawl.
Oh, my boy Brendan. So look, Xcrawl, the movie. They're doing the Indiegogo thing,
right?
And we've had him on the show several times. Actually, he was my very first guest when I started the show 4 or 5 years ago, whenever the hell it was.
4.5 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And and we've had him on again. I think we had him on when we moved over to Sports 1280.
We did.
And yeah, so but now they're actually moving forward on the movie, and they got some pretty good stuff. Now here's a little snippet of the video if you watch it.
In Xcrawl, the players take on the roles of superstar athletes participating in a live-on pay-per-view death sport. Xcrawl is short for Extreme Dungeon Crawl League.
They're superstars. And when you get a superstar athlete on your fantasy team and he's showing up week after week, or as in Xcrawl terms, he's getting kill after kill, it is awesome.
This is fantasy football, Brian. This is something you should get behind.
Absolutely. This is essentially like a Dungeons and Dragons version of
the NFL.
Oh, no.
Well,
of the Running Man.
Yeah, it's like the Running Man meets the old American Gladiators, where it's a pay-per-view death sport, and I mean it's so much fun to play. I mean, I stumbled across the book maybe 5-6 years ago,
right,
at a game store that's no longer in business. And dude, I ended up calling him up one time, and I ended up play testing the rules for him and everything. Man, it's awesome. So I really enjoyed it. It's got a great fun backstory. And it's cool. It's cool beans.
All right. So, and I guess the game itself is just supplement books for Dungeons and Dragons, or
actually, he put out another new book. I actually had to change up the rules. It used to be on the Pathfinder.
Okay.
And now it is Pathfinder. I don't know. I can't remember. My brain is not working.
No, that's cool. But so this is an Indiegogo campaign to back producing this movie, the Xcrawl movie, right?
Yes. All right. And it is worth the money because, I mean, honestly, look, you and I are always talking about the reboots.
Reboots?
This is not a reboot.
Don't talk to me about reboots.
I know, yeah. Let's get some new content out there. And actually, we're going to bring it up with Gigi Edgley. She talks about a Kickstarter.
Ah, yes, she does.
So.
All right, now Deadpool wrapped, Brian. Deadpool 2 has wrapped production.
I'm excited.
You should be.
Yes, because I love me some Deadpool.
So get ready for all these masturbatory jokes and just, farting poop jokes and just general rudeness.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good.
I'm really shocked you really like this movie, though. I thought you would be your delicate sensibilities would be offended by it.
I can appreciate that stuff if I don't go spouting from the hilltops about it.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, because I'm not into...
You should be.
You're
into that British humor.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. I do like the dry British humor.
Yes. All right, man. I think we gotta roll to a break, man. Did we miss anything? Yeah.
The Necronomicon.
So this is from our boy Cyber Ernie.
Yes.
And when he posted this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Everybody started sharing it because it's actually a cookbook. And the Necro nom 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 nom,
right?
And so they got just silly wordplay, kind of like the sandwich horror instead of like the eldritch horror.
Well, and actually,
funny plays on words.
I'm going to give a little shout out to the Wayward Kraken, which is where we had dinner last night up in Biloxi.
Oh, yes, I saw the picture of the menu on the Facebook page.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of stuff like lembas bread and the Cup of Cthulhu seafood bisque.
Oh,
and,
God.
Right, the nachos of Mount Doom. Like, I mean, everything is dude, this is the geeky bar. You need to check this place out. It's great.
Nice.
So, anyway, all right, you ready for a break?
Yeah. So when we get back, who do we have?
We have Miss Gigi Edgley, who is Chiana from Farscape, as our guest. Guys, stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Join the adventure at QuestCon October 20th through the 22nd at the Mobile, Alabama Convention Center. We're taking over downtown with great events like our Apocalypse Zombie Experience, Post-Apocalyptic Wrecking Yard, and our Halo Drop Pods. We have fantastic guests like Jodelle Ferlin from Cabin in the Woods and Twilight, as well as Aaron Zetch from Ruby. There will be vendors, artists, and even a kids' con for the little ones. QuestCon October 20th through the 22nd. Check out quest-con.com for more info.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
In a New Orleans that never was and never will be, airships float high above the city while platoons of clockwork automatons patrol the streets below. In Storyville, pirates, streetwalkers, gamblers, and thieves prowl back alleys in search of their next mark. New Orleans by Gaslight, the premier anthology of locally written and locally produced steampunk poetry and fiction, all set in Victorian New Orleans. Buy it now, available in both paperback and Kindle versions at Amazon.com. New Orleans by Gaslight.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to The Week in Geek.
This is Brian Hell with the Week in Geek radio show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO, and I am joined by the wonderful Gigi Edgley. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Absolutely. Now, of course, folks out there know you very well as Gianna from Farscape, but you have been very busy lately, right?
Yeah, it's been a really amazing journey. I've been super blessed with working with the big networks and the big studios throughout my career. I've been started many moons ago, probably when I was around the age of 12, and I've had a beautiful run of leading ladies and all sorts of different characters, and it's been a very exciting journey because I've always pursued scripts and, you know, productions that have really challenged me and excited me. And, you know, there's been many times along the way, much to my mother's not very impressed with me kind of vibe, but there's been a few opportunities where I should have stayed in Australia, you know, and done a soap opera or stayed close to home and everything. And she's like, why can't you just take a nice job here in Australia? I'm like, Mom, because I want to travel the world and tell amazing stories and do amazing things and go to these awesome conventions and meet like beautiful people that I've met along the way. Are just so extraordinary, and I'm so blessed to be part of this beautiful convention circuit and be making my own projects now, and it's been a real blessing.
Awesome. Well, speaking of your own projects, you have a really cool project that just came out called Closer. It's a music video of your original music, right?
Yeah, it's really exciting because it was actually it was a very long journey. I met a beautiful boy and I wrote him a song that was a bit of an intense time in both of our lives, and I was like, you know what? And for his birthday, I'm going to surprise him with a treasure hunt, and I'm gonna one of the presents along the way was playing this song, you know, to him, and it was very special. So I snuck around for a while and found a producer that could help me make it and everything, and yeah, I guess Jed can tell the rest of the story about how it all came about.
So, and we have on the line with us as well, Jed Luzinski, and he directed this, right, Jed?
Yes, yeah, I did. So I got a funny story. So this was my birthday night a couple of years ago, and Gigi told me, okay, be ready like 9 p.m. We're gonna go out. You know, I'm gonna take you out for dinner or something. And like 7 o'clock, I hear this knock on the door, and then I open the door, and there's like a little Captain Kirk like standing, like little figurine in front of my door, and there's a little box with a red bow on it. And then I open up the box, like, what is this? And there's streamers all down the hallway. And And so I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I open up the box, and there's like this little poem. It's like a mystery riddle poem, and it's like, turn the corner, go to this place, and find the next surprise. And so I go, and I'm like searching down the hallways, and I'm like, oh, here's the next one. There's a series of like 8 to 10 boxes take me all the way down the building, into the garage, running around the parking lot, and then finally this last one points me into the direction, the end of the parking lot. And so Gigi's got her car, and it's the back, hatch, back gate is open,
right?
And then she's got like a little disco ball and like velvet ropes and like like felt curtains, and she has a little birthday treasure castle in there. And then I'm like, what's going on? And then she's like, close the doors. And then she hits play on the radio, and then she plays into this song, and I just I started crying. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, wait, is that you? And she's like, yeah, that's me. I wrote this for you. And it was amazing. But for over the course of the past year and a half, 2 years, we kept throwing around the idea of we should make a music video for this,
Right.
And at first we're just okay, maybe we'll do this one day. But then we started getting a little more and more serious with it, and then we come up with more and more ideas, and then we found some locations that we liked, and we're like, oh my God, we could do this and we could do that. And then somehow it came all together. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, you got to go to YouTube and search for Closer, Gigi Edgley. And I love it because it's got this really old school, B-movie, sci-fi awesomeness to it. It's just super cool. And, I was kind of nervous when we were putting it together that it wouldn't come out the way that we wanted, or the way that I had kind of envisioned it, but it kind of just surpassed everything that I wanted. It's exactly what we wanted to come out with, and it looks really cool.
Well, and it does look great. There's some great effects in there, all the computers and CGI and stuff. There's a good production value to this.
There is.
It's the first thing that we've actually, because when I first met, when I meet people at the conventions and everything, usually my very first question to them is, oh, what's your passion? And everyone's like, oh, what do I do for a job? I'm like, no, well, if that's your passion, then that's great. But is it? And then it's interesting how many people are like, I don't know. And you're like, because this life is so short, and we're all here for, such a moment of existence that we should all be doing what we love. And I'm a big believer in that. And so when I first met Jed, he's got this genius mind, and I just saw this, he's such an intelligent man, and his passion is cinematography and computers and lights, and he sees things that other people don't see, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to do productions together. You're amazing. I've got ideas. You've got ideas. Let's make magic together. And he's like, yeah, well, I got to do my day job. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's make magic. So it was a cool little project that we, that it's on so many levels. It means so many things too, because it took a lot of courage and a lot of sweat and tears and arguments and cuddles and kisses and everything to make it happen. So it was a very big journey.
Well, and I can tell you from my watching it, you can clearly see that passion that's evident in what you guys produced. And yes, go check that out. It's incredible. Now, we just have a couple more minutes before we got to get to the break. So, Gigi, you have another project that you're working on that I want to talk about real quick, and that's Hashtag. This is a film production, and y'all just talked about it at Dragon Con. Tell me real quick about it.
It's beautiful. So I came back to host Jim Henson's Creature Shop Challenge, and then I waited for over a year for it to get picked up. And then I spoke to Brian Henson, and he said, oh, yeah, by the way, it looks like, sci-fi, it's not going to happen. And I was like, oh, my goodness, I just moved my dog and my cat and my life. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I was actually approached at Dragon Con by this beautiful production company, and they said, would you be interested in telling the story, making this script with us, making this production? And I said, well, let me have a read of it and I'll check it out. And it was amazing. And so I called them straight up, and I was like, yeah, let's make this happen. And so that was the very first time I went into the crowdfunding direction, and it was awesome because it's actually the first time that I really got to produce something, and it was amazing that we could actually join forces with friends and fans and family members to make these amazing stories together. And it's great working with the big production companies, but it's so refreshing when you can actually make your own thing from scratch. and stay true to your story. So hashtag, we released a teaser as well at DragonCon, and you can check that out online. And it's very, very special. It's very special.
Well, and you're absolutely right. There's so many productions that are coming out on this Kickstarter model, and folks are producing just incredible works, and I'm glad to see this. It looks great. I watched the trailer just last night, and I'm excited to. Do you know when it's going to come out? It's going to be available or not yet?
So we're actually like in the final stages of putting the rest of the computer graphics on. As I said before, it's been a real journey because we raised just over $40,000, but then to work with the type of people that we, that are very high caliber, because we want it to look amazing. We want to pitch the Sundance Cannes, so to work with amazing people on a very limited budget is very challenging. So it's taken us a little while, but I have seen the rough cut, and it is beautiful, and people will be blown away. So I wouldn't think it would be much more than 6 months off, but I'm still on the acting side of it, so that's more of the director-producer side of things. But I can promise you that when it does come out, people will be absolutely blown away, and we want to use it. We're spending so much time to make it so beautiful because we want that to be the sizzle reel to say, okay, this is what we can do with 44,000. Now let's do an anthology series, or something bigger than that. We don't want it just to sit on the short film level. So yeah, it's very exciting. And the cool thing is if people can jump online and check out Closer and check out hashtag, and you follow and friend and like and everything that people. So sometimes I don't realise how far that goes, and I came back over to do a signing for Farscape after the show was cancelled many, many years ago, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, we love it, and it's going to come back, and we're going to bring it back." And I was so sceptical. I'd seen the ship being pulled apart, and I'd seen Rigel sent back to the Henson Company, and I knew it was done. And I was quite honest to the fans, and I said, "Listen, guys, it's very nice that you have such enthusiasm, but it's not going to happen, And they're like, "How could you say that?" And sure enough, it was the love and the adoration, and they pretty well made it happen. So now I'm all about share and like and get it out there and do that thing. So any level that we can help each other out in this crazy world and give each other love and enthusiasm and help each other tell amazing stories, let's do it. So that's why I'm coming to QuestCon, because I want to meet all those amazing people and share these beautiful stories. And I'll have video clip with me, the music video. I'll have hashtag, teaser. I'll also have the teaser for Nexus, which is another beautiful project. So I can't wait. I'm very excited.
Well, and I was just going to mention that for all the fans down here in the Gulf Coast, you're going to be at QuestCon in Mobile, October 20th through the 22nd, right?
Yes, I am, and I want to meet you all, so please come by and say hello. We'll be doing photos, and I've got lots of cool projects to talk to you about, and as you can tell, I'm pretty much an open book, so you can ask me anything.
Right. Awesome. Well, Gigi, thank you so much for taking the time today. And what was the web address again for Closer and hashtag? How do we find that?
So if you look up Closer, if you just type in Closer and then Gigi Edgley, it will come right up. It's on my YouTube channel. And hashtag Gigi Edgley will pop up as well. I've also got links on my website, my Facebook and my Twitter, and also the music videos, all my stuff, and my upcoming conventions. And that's justmyname.com. So it's gigiedgley.com.
Fantastic. All right. Gigi, Jed, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. Guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we'll have our interview with Mr. Kevin Hearne, author of A Plague of Giants. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
The Legacy Moments program is a free program offered by the Akula Foundation. Families of hospice patients or anyone who has lost a loved one is invited to participate. Just mail in, bring in, or send your photos by email documenting your loved one's life. Favorite sayings or quotes can also be submitted to be included in the tribute. Remember, your story is the greatest gift that you can leave for your friends and family. For additional information on this program, please call 504-881-0452 or email legacymoments@akulafoundation.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Join the adventure at QuestCon, October 20th through the 22nd at the Mobile, Alabama Convention Center. We're taking over downtown with great events like our Apocalypse Zombie Experience, Post-Apocalyptic Wrecking Yard, and our Halo Drop Pods. We'll have fantastic guests like Gigi Edgley from Farscape and Paul Amos from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. There will be vendors, artists, and even a kids' con for the little ones. QuestCon, October 20th through the 22nd. Check out quest-con.com for more info. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
This is Kate Mulgrew for the Week in Geek.
Just kidding. It's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, the Major from Ghost in the Shell. Listen, or the Tachicomas are going to get you.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek radio show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. And I have with me New York Times and USA Today best-selling author of the Iron Druid Chronicles, Mr. Kevin Hearne. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing so well. Thanks for having me on, Brian.
Oh, yeah. Well, and just, you know, a quick throwback. We had you on way back November 2015, and we definitely had to get an update because you've got a lot of cool stuff going on.
Oh yeah, I've been busy for sure. I'm writing 3 series at the moment. It's kind of crazy. Not just the one anymore.
Right. Oh yes. So let's start off by checking in with my favorite druid, Mr. Atticus O'Sullivan. How's he doing?
Well, he's just about to the end of his particular journey. Yeah. I have 2 more books coming out for him, and then that particular series will be finished off. There's an Oberon's Meaty Mystery coming out on November 30th, and that's called The Squirrel on the Train. And it's a little novella told from Oberon's point of view.
All right.
And then the final book of the series, Scourged, will be out on April 3rd. And that's book 9. So I'm happy to have made it that far. I'm really grateful to readers for making sure I got there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, will we find out in The Squirrel in a Train if Oberon gets that squirrel finally?
Yeah. You know what? There's a little bit of a surprise regarding the squirrels in that particular volume. So I hope people will enjoy it. I had a blast writing it. Those are a lot of fun for me to do.
No, that's fantastic. I look forward to it. Now, more importantly, though, not that the Iron Druid's not important because I love it, but on October 17th, you have a new series coming out. It's part of the, if I pronounce this correctly, the 7 Kennings series. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And it's A Plague of Giants, of which we got an advanced copy to take a look at. Tell me, I'm really surprised that this has such
a unique style that I'm not really seeing a whole lot of, and it's so different from the Iron Druid. How did you come and approach writing this particular piece?
Okay, well, believe it or not, I actually worked on an early version of this before I wrote Iron Druid. This has been in my head for a long time, and if anything, the Seven Kennings is my baby, kind of sentimentally and emotionally more than the Iron Druid is. This has always been the story that I really wanted to write, and I think I really needed to spend the time writing a whole bunch of other stuff to just kind of up my game to the point where I could do something like this.
Right.
And because structurally it's unusual, it's 11 different first-person points of view, and to my knowledge, I haven't seen a lot of that kind of a thing where people are trying to not only manage multiple points of view, but keep them in first person and also keep suspense going regarding, who lives and who dies. And that kind of a thing was a challenge for me. And I laid them all together with a bard who is telling these stories. So it has a couple, it kind of has a flame structure to it. And it keeps things kind of humming along. And it's kind of fun to see how this bard is telling a story in prose form, kind of in the way Homer might have told his epics to ancient audiences in Greece.
Well, I can tell you, I was absolutely enthralled while I was reading this because you presented it in that style, right? And it's, the Iron Druid is to me a much faster paced book series, right? And I can gobble those up. It's so great, such great action scenes. But this is like a 7-course meal that you really dig it into, and it was just presented so very well.
Oh, thank you so much. I had a lot of time to build up the world and kind of get into how language is something that actually patterns our brains and the ways we think, not just in terms of sort of a semantic kind of thing, but a physical thing. Our brains are physically altered by the way we think and the language that we speak. So that kind of underpinning is what informed the world here, and I wanted to make sure that all of these different people from different countries had their own distinct voices. And I think if you're going to tell an epic, and if you just look at our own history as human beings as epic, you need to have a lot of points of view. You need to have, more than just, it's just, for example, the cisgender white heterosexual male. You need to have a lot more than that going on to really appreciate the scope of things.
Right.
And that's what I was kind of trying to do with this, is what can we do to tell an epic story in a truly epic fashion, but yet keep it, accessible to all readers at the same time.
No, that's fair. Now, can you just give me a quick snippet of what a kenning is? And I don't think that would be a spoiler, right? Because you get into
No, not at all. If you look up the word ken, it's an unusual kind of ancient English word about knowing something really well, or an established set of knowledge. For example, you could say, well, hey, those people that live beyond the mountains, they are beyond my ken. They're beyond my actual knowledge of something. So a kenning in this sense is specific knowledge of an element.
Okay.
And they use it to refer to elemental magic. And around the world are places one can go to acquire an elemental form of magic. The problem with that is that it's probably a suicidal thing to do so. There's a very good chance that in trying to acquire this magic, you will die. So while it is accessible to anyone, it is not by any means, a guaranteed thing. So that's what kennings are. They're we have earth, wind, we have fire, water, plants, and animals that we're kind of beginning the novel with. And then there's a seventh one that nobody knows yet. and to be revealed later.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, speaking of later, this book, A Plague of Giants, which is on newsstands October 17th, is the first of this series, and book 2 will be A Blight of Blackwings, right?
Yes, book 2 will be A Blight of Blackwings.
Now, do you have this whole series plotted out? Do you have kind of an idea of how many books it's going to be, or?
Oh yeah, it's going to be 3 books.
Oh, okay.
We have, the third book is called A Curse of Krakens.
Wow, all right.
So it will encompass the entirety of the Bard's Tale plus a little bit of action after that.
No, that sounds great. I mean, that's very accessible. 3 books, you get a complete story. I love it. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I wanted to do a traditional epic fantasy that was perhaps structured a little bit different than some of the others out there. So,
of course, I'm assuming that folks can get these in all their traditional favorite booksellers, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. They're at anywhere folks regularly buy books. It's on audio as well. It's narrated by Luke Daniels.
Oh,
and
yes.
Xcrawl fans.
I love Luke Daniels. He does such a great job with the Iron Druid stuff.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And since a large number of the narrators of this series are female, I didn't feel it was right to have Luke try to do them all. And I really wanted to make sure we had a range of voices for that as well. So Xcrawl Sands is a fantastic narrator. And she is going to bring, such talent to this as well. So we're going to have a fantastic performance on the audio side. For anybody who's into audio, I think the runtime is like 22 hours.
Wow!
And it's a 600-page book, so it'll it's well worth your monthly credit if you're
definitely.
in that model.
and we get a cast instead of just a single narrator. That's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Hearne, how can folks find out more about you? How can they keep up with you, social media, all that good stuff?
Well, I'm at kevinhearne.com. I spell my last name Hearne. And then I'm just at Kevin Hearne on Twitter, Kevin _Hearne on Instagram. And that's where I'm usually posting pictures of trees and whiskey and doggies and things like that.
That sounds fantastic. So, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Join the adventure at QuestCon October 20th through the 22nd at the Mobile, Alabama Convention Center. We're taking over downtown with great events like our Apocalypse Zombie Experience, Post-Apocalyptic Wrecking Yard, and our Halo Drop Pods. We have fantastic guests like Jodelle Ferlin from Cabin in the Woods and Twilight, as well as Aaron Zetch from Ruby. There will be vendors, artists, and even a kids con for the little ones. QuestCon October 20th through the 22nd. Check out quest-con.com for more info.
In a New Orleans that never was and never will be, airships float high above the city while platoons of clockwork automatons patrol the streets below. In Storyville, pirates, streetwalkers, gamblers, and thieves prowl back alleys in search of their next mark. New Orleans by Gaslight, the premier anthology of locally written and locally produced steampunk poetry and fiction, all set in Victorian New Orleans. Buy it now, available in both paperback and Kindle versions at Amazon.com. New Orleans by Gaslight.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now.
Inconceivable!
Follow The Week in Geek on Instagram at The Week in Geek Radio Show.
Ha-ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Here's David and Brian.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. I'm your host, D Squared with
Brian Held.
Brian, we're in the home stretch, baby.
We are, and you know what that classic blunder was?
Never start a land war in Asia?
No, that voice
Following
guy...
us on Instagram?
No.
That's huge. That's a huge blunder.
No, the voice guy didn't mention all the ways that folks can follow us.
Wow, I see what you did there. As always, we strongly urge you to check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any of tonight's broadcast, or you want to catch your favorite parts again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com.
And you can always download as a ringtone her one true love.
Yes. Can you?
I don't know, but I'm sure we can find a way. It ain't rocket science.
Fair enough.
You ready to wrap up the show this week in geek history?
Yes, sir.
All right.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future! Yes! Oh my God!
This week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my God!
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
Wow. All right, Dave, I know you're not feeling very well.
I am not.
However, I have one you got to guess. But it's an easy one, all right?
You say that.
No, it's easy. All right, you ready? On October 9th, 1987. This is directed by Rob Reiner and starring Carrie Elways, Mandy Patinkin.
That's inconceivable.
And Andre the Giant and Robin Wright.
Anybody want a peanut?
Right.
Nice.
Yes, the Princess Bride. Yes. So,
nice. I'm sitting here looking through all our like liners or sound effects, and I can't believe I don't have anything.
Yeah, you're slacking.
I know. Well, you know.
Shall we play?
See, that's not it.
Right, that's not. All right.
Help me.
We're off the rails. All right, next one on the list is October 10th, 1967. The Outer Space Treaty, which is the basis for international space law, goes into effect.
Get out.
Yes. Although it's officially known, its full title is the Treaty on Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and Use of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies.
Come on, you damn dirty apes! You want to live forever?
Right. Which we have him saying
we
that.
do.
Yes.
I suck, I know.
But It's interesting looking over this treaty and the things
They
that
use like naval laws, though, right?
I believe there's some elements of that, but it's basically saying like, hey, you can't go put a moon base out and like fill it with guns and weaponry and stuff.
Right.
However, there's a loophole.
I love loopholes.
Yes. So you can put conventional weaponry like on satellites, I guess, to defend your own satellites.
right.
And there's nothing against kinetic bombardment.
What?
Do you know what that is?
Like throwing stuff at it and hitting it?
Well,
physically?
Well, yeah, like if you wanted to...
like I steer my satellite into your satellite?
Well, not just that, but think about like
Your
essentially...
chocolate is in my peanut butter. Your peanut butter got my chocolate.
A railgun aimed at Earth, sending like pilings.
Like G.I. Joe. Retaliation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
And, so apparently that's still in, kind of in there. They can do that. So
wow. Well, all righty then.
Stay tuned for the next space war.
I look forward to it.
Yes. All right. Next on the list, October 11th, 1975. Sees the debut of Saturday Night Live with guest host George Carlin.
Oh.
Yes. Wow. And, of course, that was the start of the Muppet Show, too, right? The except those Muppets weren't for kids at all.
Well, they kind of were. I watched them. My parents let me watch them.
No, but the ones that were on the Saturday Night Live were like completely adult.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't remember that.
Yeah, there were little segments on Saturday Night Live that was the Muppets, and yeah, it was very adult oriented.
I gotta go find that now.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, because my parents were kind of prudish. He didn't let me watch anything. That's why I always hung out with my uncles.
Does that explain things, Dave?
Yes. Have you met my brother? We're not right in Ed.
We know that.
I found something. Okay, I got it out of my system.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Moving on, October 12th, 1979. Written by Douglas Adams, it's The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was first published on this day. Did you know it was a radio show before it was a book?
I did not.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
the British always seem to do that. Like, wasn't Doctor Who started off as a radio show? Or no, was that strictly for the
That
TV?
was strictly for TV.
Right.
But, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of course, he conceived it while passed out drunk in a field.
Nice.
Right, holding
I'm digging that.
Hitchhiker's Guide to Europe. And he's like, somebody should write a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And
was that towel just to wipe up his puke or something? He's like,
probably. But, yeah, it's so sad he's gone. Such a great author.
Well, one of our friends has been considered like, him. Douglas Adams-esque.
What, the Rob Serio?
That's the one.
Yes.
All right, what's next?
This one's interesting. October 14th, 1947. It's not a name you hear very much anymore, but Chuck Yeager becomes the first person to break the sound barrier in level flight in the Glamorous Glennis, named after his wife. And it was the Bell X-1 rocket engine-powered aircraft.
Wasn't Apollo, the movie Apollo, I think it even had all that portions in it while they were trying to fight to get the space race up and running.
Yeah. I think there were some references, yeah. So the...
Hidden Figures. Have you seen Hidden Figures?
Hidden Figures.
It's about the black ladies that worked at NASA and like basically revolutionized NASA with like the IBM, the International Business Machines, and just like they were computers is what they call them, computers. They did like the high level, high end math.
Yeah.
And dude, spectacular movie, loved it.
Awesome.
Because both my parents were math teachers, so
Yeah.
I had a special affinity for it.
No, that's cool.
All right.
Last on my list, you'll like this one. You don't have to guess it. All right, is October 15th, 1981.
What if I want to guess it?
You're going to get it. Directed by Sam Raimi and
Evil
starring
Dead. No. Army of Darkness.
Bruce
Or
Campbell.
Evil Dead. Take your pick. Evil Dead 2? Evil Dead 3?
The Evil Dead is released. Nice. So, of course, cult classic, right?
You found me, beautiful one.
Honey,
you got real ugly.
All right, real quick, some birthdays. On the 9th, Scott Bakula.
Yay!
Yeah, he's cool.
I guess.
On the 11th, Claudia Black from both Stargate SG-1 and Farscape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On the 12th, Joss Hutcherson.
Oh, that's Joss Whedon.
And he was Peter Mellark in Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah. I liked him.
Also on the 12th, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman?
Yes.
Hugh Jackman.
Right, that guy.
Oh, God, you know, speaking of Hugh Jackman, I don't know why I thought of Stranger Things, but Stranger Things is coming out in like 2 more weeks, man.
I know.
I'm excited. You excited?
Yes,
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. Yeah, and my last birthday is on the 13th. Christopher Judge. He was Teal'c from Stargate SG-1.
Still need to interview that dude.
Yeah.
I like him.
We need to get him. So let's see. We're almost out of here, guys.
Yeah, what are we doing next week? Yeah.
QuestCon will be at Mobile, Alabama at the the Renaissance Plaza Hotel and the Convention Center.
The Outlaw Center.
Yes.
I don't know what the guy's first name is, but his last name is Outlaw.
No, that's cool. But
I'm going to change my name.
It's going to take up all of downtown right there, like 4 blocks, and we got all kind of stuff going on. We'll have a table. We'll have the prizes from GameStop with us, and
score.
Come say hi, stop by, hang out. It'll be fun, and that's about all I got right now.
There we go. All right, guys. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Where'd it come from?
Your new home for Walton and Johnson. News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.